Hey guys, this is Delta with My Divine Wealth Services. So today, I wanted to come talk to you all about common mistakes that preparers make or people make. There are some mistakes that are made that can really be avoided. And over the years, I've realized that the mistakes are actually made because we're moving a little bit too fast. Um, we have a lot of distractions around us that we really shouldn't have, and just not having a check and balance system, a check and balance process. So, with that being said, I would say once I start processing my returns, one of the things that I do is everything goes on do not disturb. If I'm communicating with that particular client as I'm processing their returns, because my businesses are 100% virtual, um, I will communicate with that individual back and forth as I'm processing their return. But everybody else, they have to wait. I can't have phone calls. I can't be texting. I can't be on social media. So I schedule my social media posts ahead of time, or I have a team of people that handle my social media posts. And it makes it so much easier for me to focus on what I need to focus on, because it's all important. But when you're messing with someone's their numbers, their personal information, their taxes as a whole, you just have to be very cautious. So what I have learned is you have to get rid of all distractions, no matter who it is, what it is. It doesn't matter, person, place, or thing. You can't go and process tax returns where it's going to be loud, where you're going to have a lot of people around, where people are going to be able to walk around you and see personal data, personal information. If you're home and you have a home office, you really need to have a space where you don't have a bunch of noise, a bunch of people walking around, a bunch of people just interfering with what you have going on. Or and it could be our kids, it could be our spouses, it could be our significant others. It doesn't matter. You have to make sure that you place yourself in an appropriate setting to where you're able to do your job. And your job is to make sure you process those taxes as accurately as possible, to make sure you let nothing, person, place, or thing interfere with that. And if you have to be interfered, then you need to just completely stop. The working and the working and talking, the working and communicating with somebody else, it doesn't work. Mistakes are easily made when we do such things. So if I have to be interrupted, I completely pause everything. I typically will save and exit the return. Yes, I do that. I will save and exit the return. That way, when I am completely finished with whatever the interruption was, I can return back to that tax return with no issues, without me thinking about where was I. I know where I am because once I save and exit it, I'm gonna make notation on the within the file folder where I am. Um, and I typically put check marks on everything as I go through everything, all the documents and everything that I have. So just a little, just some tips to try to help everybody, all preparers, especially newer preparers. Even some older preparers have bad habits that they need to get rid of. But I definitely want to make sure I get a hold of some of the newer preparers, and just so they know and understand how important it is to stay focused and to not have distractions around them. And just, I even like to have my desk clean. Like, I don't want to have 100 different folders. I will pull that one folder that I need. All the rest of the folders have to go. Um, but that's just me. That's just the OCD in me, right? Everybody's not like that. Some people can work during chaos. Like, some people can do that. I'm just not one of those people. But today I really just wanted to target the 7 most common tax filing mistakes. That's what I wanted to discuss. The 7 most common tax filing mistakes. Um, I would say the wrong social security number is a big one. Um, we really should not be processing taxes unless we have a valid social security number, social security card. You can have past tax returns that you can use to validate this information as well. Sometimes I'll even ask for the last 2 years. You know, things happen. Some people may lose their card. They ordered another card and didn't get the card in time. I get it. Things happen, but I have to do my due diligence on my end. So for that reason, I need something else with your social security number on it to help me validate that. And the best thing to use is prior tax returns, because the IRS have already seen them. They're already on file. And it's something that you can kind of trust in. And a lot of clients know it. They'll tell you quickly, you know, I misplaced the social, but I do have prior tax returns. I can definitely send it to you. That is fine with me. I don't need the entire social. I don't need, well, for the most part, I will get the entire return. I'll just get the entire return and just use what I need to use. But that is one of the things that you can use. It's probably the only thing that I would suggest outside of any type of government documentation that have name, birth date, addresses, socials, everything's matching, and you want to have more than one thing to kind of pull everything together. That way you have that reassurance that you need to move forward with submission. To avoid making a mistake with the social security numbers, you need to have everything sitting right in front of you. I mean, there's no reason for some of the documents to be in one area and some to be, everything needs to be sitting directly in front of you. That way you're able to go right to that social security number and you're able to do a check and balance on that. Once I put the social security number in, I cannot talk. Once I put that number in, I typically will go back over and just double check it. For me, I do 3 numbers at a time just to make sure I'm on track. Just to checks and balance, guys. You don't, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that you are not backtracking. So a saying that was given to me multiple times on multiple occasions was, you always want to measure twice and cut once. Measure twice and cut once. But in with that, so what I will say is, after you verify your social security numbers, you can breathe a little bit and then you just take your time and you move forward. But one of the second most common mistakes for tax filing would be the incorrect taxpayer name. That's why it's very important that you have the driver's license sitting right in front of you. We can't use nicknames. We can't use the names your mama call you. We have to use your government name. We have to use the name that is on your social security card, the name that's on your driver's license. If you have a passport, you can use the name that's on the passport, because all of that should coincide. It all should match, right? So you have to be careful with that. So it's not just the name itself, it's the spelling. You have to make sure that you're spelling those names right. Don't assume, we have a lot of names out here that's just spelled different. I've seen Michelle's spelled different. It's so many different names. My son's name is Taryn. I see Taryn spelled different. So guys, don't just assume what a spelling should be for a name. You verify what that name is. You look at that name and you type that name in exactly how it is on the ID. That's why the social and ID should always be sitting out on right there in front of you when you are processing these tax returns. The best way to not make a mistake in that area is to checks and balance. You look at multiple documentations, you check the spellings on it. If you see more than one spelling on some of these W-2s and other tax documents, then you need to pick up the phone or you can shoot a text message. However, you need to communicate with your with your taxpayer, your client. You communicate with them and then you allow them to tell you the correct spelling. That way you can move forward with ease. But that is one of the second most mistakes for tax filing that we all have to pay more attention to. And it's all about just slowing down and utilizing the resources that you have to make sure you do what you need to do. The third tax filing mistake would be not filing your taxes at all. It's bad enough. Some of us, we work year round and we're paying these. Sometimes you're not even paying your tax withholdings that you're supposed to pay. But the thing is, guys, we're supposed to pay our taxes throughout the year. I've seen people do it different ways. I've seen people they increase their withholdings for the first 6 months. In the last 6 months, they either decrease it or get rid of it altogether, but it all depends on how much you increase. Hey, however it works for you, it does not matter. You need to do what's best for you in your situation. If you're going to be paying your withholdings, if you're going to be working, you need to be paying your withholdings throughout the year, okay? Paying your withholdings throughout the year and then filing your taxes. What it is not going to help you, because what people don't realize is the IRS already know that you worked. They know how many jobs you worked. They know where you worked. They know how much money you had, and they know, how much money you made. They know if you had withholdings and if you didn't. So if you had withholdings, it's all the possibility of that is if I worked and I made money and I had tax withholdings taken out, then I am supposed to get some of that withholdings back. That's where your tax refunds come in at, okay? Along with some additional things, of course. But just understand that you need to file your taxes. Stop holding on to your taxes, waiting 2 and 3 years. Then your tax preparer or tax professional have to charge you for that. Then you're looking crazy in the face because now you're processing 3 returns at one time versus 1 at a time. Of course, most of us that I know of, we don't have an issue working some kind of payment plan out with you. But guys, file your taxes. Don't hold on to your taxes. If you are an adult, you're working, you need to file your taxes. That is the number 3 tax filing mistake. People think if they don't file their taxes, it's going to go away, and it is not going to go away. It will be sitting right there waiting on you, or you will get a knock from the IRS. So it is best to just file your taxes, guys. The 4th one would be filing your taxes late. So I get it. Sometimes we have to file our taxes late. I don't know a lot of the reasons why people choose to file their taxes late. We are able to request an extension for our taxes, which is typically about 6 months. But understand that once you file the extension, they are looking for you to file those taxes after that. Anything other than that should be communicated with the IRS, and you should work it out that way. But if you're filing your taxes late, is it because you are waiting on documentation? You're looking for documentation. You don't want to, you're going to owe the IRS, and you don't want to owe the IRS. At the end of the day, your tax professional should always be looking for ways legally to either increase your tax refund or reduce the amount that you owe the IRS. So it's nothing to at the end of the day, guys, if you take the necessary steps throughout the year, you shouldn't be too bad off. If you know you typically owe the IRS, you need to increase your withholdings throughout the year. Do what's best for your situation. Don't compare yourself to no one else, okay? Just don't compare yourself to no one else. The 5th one would be for wrong names, and I already combined that one with the incorrect taxpayer name. When I say that is you can put the wrong name on a tax return, okay? But you can also spell that name wrong. So I actually combined those. The incorrect tax preparer name was number 2. Number 5 would be the wrong name. So at the end of the day, you definitely need to we have to slow down. We have to take our time with this, guys. And I've seen these errors happen. I made a few mistakes early on myself, and it was just not slowing down and just taking my time and just having a checks and balance system. Having a checks and balance system always work, guys. Always work, never fails. Nothing should rush us through processing a tax return, period. Nothing should rush us. And then the last thing would be, the second to the last thing is going to be your math errors. So that's why we have calculators. We have to calculate these deductions. We have to calculate our receipts. We have to calculate these things. And every tax professional, tax preparer handles that differently. I have a team that I pay to do that. I don't have time to do that, but it has to be done. At the end of the day, math errors are math errors. So no matter who is doing the calculating, we need to make sure that they are accurate. We have to make sure that these items are accurate, guys. We just can't fumble through it real quick and have a keystroke error, and that keystroke error could be $1,000 off, especially if you do it more than multiple times. So it's all about just taking your time. For me, the way I do my math calculations to prevent errors is I'll calculate like 2 or 3, maybe like 4 items at a time, 4 or 5 items at a time. I'll put a total beside it. I'll take that total and I'll add like 4 or 5 items back to it. So at the end of the day, I'll continue to do that till I'm done, and I teach my staff to do the same. But what happens is, being that I don't have to, if I do make a keystroke error, I don't have to go all the way back. I can look at my totals that I have for the first 5. Boom, plug it in my calculator. For the next 5, boom, plug it in my calculator, versus doing one at a time. So again, it's always about having a system, checks and balance. You do learn, like, things work differently for different people. So I get that, but at the same time, we have to understand that we need to have some kind of strategy, some kind of checks and balance, something that's going to make sure we stay afloat and not make math errors, because math is simple as adding and subtracting. And at this point anyway, and of course we have multiplications too when it comes to our taxes. So, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're using your calculator, you're using some device that's going to assist you. If you are not good in that area, I don't know what to tell you other than you need to get somebody else to do that portion for you. Some people are just good at plugging numbers in, but you need to get someone else to do that portion for you, because you shouldn't be doing that. If you have shaky fingers or fumbling fingers or whatever the case may be, fingers that are going to make you make errors in that section, just be mindful of that. It is okay to pay someone a few dollars to help you out in that area if that's what you need to do, but you have to be the one to make that decision. That choice is all about being responsible. So we're doing what we need to do for our taxpayers, and just making the right decisions for them. Number 7 would be claiming too many deductions. There is a such thing, guys. Sometimes when we claim too many deductions, your adjusted gross income starts dwindling down so low that the total of your deductions and your adjusted gross income starts bumping up against each other. At this time, first of all, you just have to ask questions. I ask my clients all the time, are you looking to make any big purchases? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. If they say they are, then I know I can't claim all their deductions. They have to show they made income. So being that they have to show that they made income, I know I cannot claim all the deductions. If I need to go back and do an amendment later on, then we'll do that and we'll discuss that. But that is not included in this particular tax preparation fee. That is an additional charge. And I make sure that that is understood upfront. But at the end of the day, just be mindful of when you're claiming your deductions, that sometimes you just may not be able to claim every last one of your deductions. Some of your deductions will take your adjusted gross income so wildly into the negative category. That is not a good look itself with the IRS. So you just have to be mindful of that. Those numbers move up and down, up and down. So you have to always keep that in mind. So I just came to you tonight because I wanted to share the 7 most common tax filing mistakes. And I hope you take this information, you do what you need to do with this information, and you share this information with other individuals. I have not done a YouTube video in a while, so please subscribe to my channel. Please like, share, and comment, guys. If it's some topics that you want me to touch on, comment, let me know. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps some of these tax professionals, tax preparers, the newbies, even some of the old people that set in their ways. Like, we're never too young to teach, and we're never too old to learn. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys join me. I will be making more videos coming up in the near future. So that is my goal. So just stay tuned, and I will talk to you soon.